On this trip, we shall be walking Madeira's water channels, the levadas, walking to the highest mountains and taking in some spectacular coastal scenery.
Today we're climbing up to the highest summit on Madeira, Pico Rievo, and we're walking on a purpose-made path, a very high-level path, which at the moment it's very busy because we're at a viewpoint where all the coaches out of Funchal pull up and have a look at the view because it's a good viewpoint. So we're setting off this way and you can see people there walking across the path in the distance, going up over there towards, I think that must be the summit.
Glad the safety wires are on there.
Those trees and shrubs were heading. They're trimming all the broom off over there. It must be very invasive on Madeira. It's the second lot of people we've seen with brush cutters cutting the broom. So they'll be trimming it off, I guess, then replanting. The original path's been swept away by a landslide, so this is the detour path. We thought we weren't going to make it at all, but they have put an alternative route in.
How far to go now?
Just a few yards, or a few metres even, but behind it the swirling mist. Well, we've made it back to where we started. This is the summit of the Pico de Ario at 1,802 metres. Looking behind us we've got the view, and in the far distance we can see the summit of Pico Rievo. And it's taken us about 7 hours to do the walk there and back, and it's been one of the most incredible walks I think we've ever done. Now this is the Levada de Ribeira da Janela, starting at Lamaceros. 25 kilometres in total. It's a heck of a way. We're not going all that way. We need a torch, we need to wear walking boots, we need a stick, and we need to watch the time. look at this. We think this is one of the endemic plants of Madeira.
We later identified it as the disc house leek.
We're halfway down on the way back now, and we're looking back up the valley and finding it absolutely astonishing that there is actually a levada going up this valley. You'd think it would be totally impassable by anything, and we've been up there. Today we're walking from Paul Domar. We parked at the far end of the beach, walked along the beach, and it's a circular walk up a zigzag flight of steps to a levada at the top, and then back along the top, along the edge, and then dropping down at the other end. It said it's a walk of about 5 hours, and you need to be quite fit. And it's a lovely day today, really warm, about 21 degrees, and as you can see, it's quite hot for walking up a steep hill like this.
I'm just reading the book now, and apparently towards the end of this path it gets very, very steep. I don't know how steep, but only time will tell. Well, in the book it said it was going to be steep, but I didn't think it was going to be as steep as this. Otherwise I wouldn't have done it. Is the foothold alright?
Get up off the ground and stop messing about.
Hey?
Descent starts now from the Hotel Atlantico. It's going to be very steep. Today we're walking one of the old paths that cross the mountains in the centre of Madeira. It's called the Royal Path.
This royal path was used by the landed gentry whose wives reclined in hammocks, all carried by men. The path is paved and served as one of the main routes for the movement of people across the island.
It seems such a waste. We're walking over thousands of chestnuts. It's falling off the trees as we stand under it.
What's happened to the weather?
The weather's deteriorated somewhat, and it's a little bit inclement.
As you can see from the weather, it was so clear on the way up, completely sunny, but on the way back it's a complete contrast.
It's Tuesday today, and after a very stormy night we've decided to walk the Central Divide, which is the west to east ridge that runs along the middle of the island. We should have great views of the north coast that way, brilliant views of the south coast that way, but we're just in mist at the moment. So we're walking east towards the highest peak, Mount Ruibo, which is 6,000 feet. So we must be probably at about 5,000 and something, I think, along here. And it looks like it's an old pilgrim path. Amazing, or an old villager's path or something. It's just everything's cut into the rock, and luckily we're the only people up here because the weather's a bit grotty, so we'll just carry on and hope for the best. We've just had a little bit of a view, it's just starting to clear. It's probably about 12:30. We think that's where we were yesterday, over there on the top. This is the far eastern tip of Madeira, and we're walking along a windswept peninsula looking out over the sea, and it's quite windy today. It's Sunday and it's 24 degrees, so it's pleasant temperature, and we've got the sunscreen on, and we're about to set off. The island of Madeira is a very young island, geologically speaking. It's only 135 million years old, and it's made up of layers and layers of basalt, like the cliffs behind me, which came out of a volcano, part of the same island arc as the Canaries. Of course, on the Canaries you've still got one or two active volcanoes, but this one has long since become dormant.
Perched on a hilltop, our accommodation was second to none. The large outdoor patio area makes it ideal for sun worshippers, with magnificent views over the sea. Indoors, the spacious lounge together with a log burner for the winter months is an ideal place to relax in. The bedrooms consist of 2 doubles and 1 twin, all with commanding views of the Atlantic Ocean.
Madeira, we came, we saw, and we conquered.
They're not conquered.
Oh, Madeira, we came, we saw, and we chestnutted.